Hello, social media world. Aaron here and Aaron Mac. I'm looking at the lighting. I'm like, is this enough? I don't want to show you all man boobage, but I don't. I came all the way to this room so I can have better lighting. And you know what? It is better. It's just not great. But what I will not do is take the time to plug in the ring light. The ring light. We're professional here, okay? In terms of having the ring light, but I'm not going to use it right now because I don't want to waste your precious time setting it up. Well, not setting it up, but plugging it in. I don't think it will. No, I won't. So let me get right down to it, okay? When you get right down to it, I'm talking about silver daddies. Okay, so the fact that we start crossing into silver daddy territory in our 30s, like that's just how it is. And so for some, not for everybody. For example, you know um as far as you see, I have the bald head, the mostly bald head. That's because my hairline's been running away from me since I was 23. Nevertheless, for example, my dad still has a full head of hair. Full head of hair. Grows that can grow it out and everything. And I was like, but what? Well, why am I seemingly going bald? And I remember I went to this. I was going to this barber at the time, and I was like, I don't understand. And this is when I was like 24 or 25. I was 25. Yeah. And I was like, it seems like I'm going bald. Why would I be going bald at this point for no reason? It's like my dad is nowhere near bald. He has a full head of hair. I don't understand it. And I remember my barber asked me this, and he was like, what about your mother's brother? And I was like, um, oh. Genealogy is a tricky wicky thing. But yeah, I was like, oh yeah, my uncle's been going bald, been shaving his head bald for years because of the fact that he was going bald. So it's like, ah. But again, genealogy is a strange thing. So as different people have different things at different ages. And for some people, it's becoming a silver daddy as they crossed into the 30s. And I was on Facebook. I don't. I use Facebook for the work of hashtag Verse TV and keeping up with that stuff. But as far as me just getting on for a Janet Jackson escapade. Let me take you on an escapade. Let's go. For doing that, I just don't really have the time. Better statement. I don't really make the time like I used to. And anyway, I was on it on my personal account because I use the hashtag the Verse TV account. Facebook, makes you spell things kind of strange. But I was on the Verse TV account, and No, normally I'm on the Verse TV account, but this day I was on my personal account and I came across the personal page of this dude that I followed years ago. We went on a date. It apparently wasn't great. I was very attracted to him. Bear in mind, I think we were both in our 20s at the time. I think I was like 3 years older than him, but I think we were both in our 20s. So I was very into him. Very into him. I was very much attracted to him. He was fine. I shouldn't say he was. The brother is fine. Yes, he is, okay? And I was into what he was doing with his life. Like, I was like, oh, we could match and mesh and be together forever and ever, Tupac. And he just wasn't feeling me like that, I guess. And he was, I think, the second time that I paid for the meal on the first date. Y'all heterosexual brothers, I know y'all go through that because it's like socially you're expected to pay on the first date. And there are people who will deliberately just go on that first date with you because they are destitute and just not destitution is a different thing, but just because they don't want to buy their own meal, so they're like, I'll go on a date with him so he can pay it because it's expected that he'll pay. That's one of the things that I appreciate about being a same gender loving man, because it's like I, for the most part, will say, I know this is a long way around talking to the silver daddy point, but I will, for the most part, say on the first date we go Dutch treat. Period. First date we both pay for our own meals. Period. And on the second date and beyond, we can venture into paying for each other's meals, stuff like that. But the first date, Dutch treat, period. And the guy that I'm doing this whole video about, he was one of the rare occasions that I actually said I would pay for both of our meals. And I don't know if it's because he was like, oh, I don't have any money, or gave like an excuse like that, or if I volunteered it. I doubt that I volunteered it, but I was really into him. So I wouldn't put that possibility past myself. Anyway, I paid for him and the date, and that was the last date. And that's just how it went. And another time that I made the rare exception and said, I'll pay, that first date was our last date also. So it was like, I think after being handled like that on those occasions, I was like, I am very, very much a Dutch treat on the first date kind of guy. Sorry. And again, sorry for heterosexual dudes, because I get it. Society says you must pay for the first date or you're a cheap basset hound. But as a homosexual man, I'm like, we both have the ability to pay for our own meal. There's no societal expectation for who pays for this meal. And oh man, I'm talking about everything. It's so funny because it's like us gay people will attempt to fit heteronormalized social expectations into our society, into our being, just because it feels right. I wonder how Gen Z is gonna handle that. I don't know, but I remember that brother is slick right there. But this one dude I was supposed to go on a blind date with, it didn't happen because we ended up showing each other our pics, and he wasn't into me, and he was like, "Yo, I do not want to go out with this dude." And I'm like, "Why not? Like, I don't have acne anymore." I don't know, but he just wasn't attracted to me. So, but his thing in talking to me, I think we were going to go to the Cheesecake Factory or whatever for our blind date. And we were getting along really well up until that pic exchange. Another topic. But one thing that he said to me, again, heteronormalizing things, he was like, "Yeah, yeah, when we go to the Cheesecake Factory, I'll pay for your meal." And I'm like, "Oh, that's sweet of you." And he is like, "Yeah, because I'm the top, and I feel it's my responsibility to pay for food to go into your belly before I put my dick in your belly." And he said it just like that. And I was like, and bear in mind, only 2 men have had their penis in my butthole. And the first one was when I was 19. The second one was when I was 34. Kevin. Well, I think y'all know that. Y'all know we was having sex because we were gonna get married anyway. But yeah. So I all of that to say, at that point when I was like 24, only one guy had penetrated me, and I already went into that whole story. But he said that, and I was kind of like, "Oh, okay, okay, yes, sir, if that's what you want." And I just imagine if we went on that date and how many minutes? I know it's been so long since I've been with you all. I don't mind going a little bit over. But if we had gone on that date and he put that food in my belly and we went home or we went to whoever house. At that point, I was just renting a bedroom in a house, in a shared house. But we went to whoever place, and he expected to F me because he paid for my meal. I don't. That would have been really difficult, particularly because at that point I had no idea how to clean yourself down there. B, particularly after having a heavy meal. And C, I just wouldn't have been prepared at all because again, only one person had been back there on me. So I wouldn't have known what to do. But if during the evening he was like, "Yeah, I'm paying for this meal because I'm going to get up in them guts tonight," I probably would have been like, "Oh, okay, thanks. We'll take 2 checks, thank you," and I would have paid for my own meal because I don't. But imagine if I did let him pay. Oof. Because I was into him, y'all. I was into him. Well, I was attracted to him. It was supposed to be a blind date, but we sent our pictures beforehand, which we should not have done. But I was attracted to him. He was not attracted to me. And we sent, if he was attracted to me, I possibly would have been like, let me do what I need to do to let him get what he wants from me because I want him. And if he wants to fuck me, hopefully not duck me, but just fuck me, then let me give him. I love the show Strangers with Candy. How many minutes? I'm going way over, but it's been too long. I love Strangers with Candy because Jerry Blank on this particular episode, she was it was about reclaiming your virginity, and which of course you can't reclaim your virginity, and that's part of the joke. Stephen Colbert and Paul D'Amelio, I believe is how you pronounce his name. That stuff that they wrote together on that show, amazing. Anyway, but they were the premise of the show was reclaiming your virginity. And Jerry's the main character. She had a date with one of the most handsome boys in school, and he wanted to have sex with her, and because he's like, "Oh, you're a virgin. Ooh, I like taking somebody's virginity," even though she was actually far from a virgin. But that's part of the joke as well. But she was talking to her best friend, and she's like, "Well, what if he wants to have sex with me?" And her best friend was like, "Remember, you're reclaiming your virginity. Hold on to your virginity. You don't want to give him that thing, and you don't want to give him your virginity." And how did she word it? Something along the lines of, "But what if he wants to do this thing to me that I want him to do to me, or something that he shouldn't do to me?" It was something along those lines, but it's very well written. So she worded it perfectly. She's like, "What if?" Anyway, oh my God, I'm talking about a million things, but yeah, it's like with him, it would have been a situation of, well, but what if I wanted to give him that piece of me anyway? But the silver daddy, right? Again, he's younger than me, and I was scrolling on Facebook and I saw this handsome older man, and I was like, "Oh, he is a handsome old brother, I know that's right." And then I looked at the name and I was like, "Oh my goodness, that's him." Not only because not only that, but he's celebrating his 36th. I don't think I was supposed to say his age on the video, but whatever. He's celebrating his 30 somethingth birthday, and he looks like an old man. He looked like a handsome old man, but he looked like an old man. And I'm like, ooh, that's interesting. Although, that goes, this video is becoming full circle, and that's why I'm about to close it. But that goes back to me with my hairline running away from me, receding, since I was 23 years old. You know, different people get different age traits at different points in time. And for him, I mean, it's not like he was a wrinkling looking drug addict or anything. He was just extremely gray, like almost all silver. And I was like, huh, you know, at younger than me, in his mid 30s, in his mid 30s. Anyway, whatever. I already said it. But it's like that's interesting because we start crossing into silver daddy features as we cross into our 30s. And I know the lighting is awful. But at least you all don't see my man boobs. Oh man. Boob. I mean, no, let me stop. But this I tell y'all everything in how many minutes? 21. Oh, okay, I can talk about this. This guy that I'm talking to, we'd been talking. We first started talking in my early 30s, his early 40s. He just crossed. Oh my gosh, I'm not saying too much because a million people just crossed 50. But anyway, through watching people like Kevin Samuels and Melanie King, I'm realizing that, you know, he seems like a very sincere dude. And even though we have had some things that we don't agree with, maybe that's just something that we need to work through. And maybe I shouldn't always be like, we disagree. There's only you and me, and we just disagree. Anyway, I shouldn't be like, we disagree on this point, so we need to break up. I need to find the right person who will agree with 100% of things going around me. And I've realized that no, I don't have to do that. Some things are things that should be worked through. And Kevin Samuels talks about marriage, and he's like, people have this idea that marriage is supposed to be this uh, magical fantasy ride of things, but really it's work. It's two people coming together, putting in the work together. And I don't know, but something about him makes me feel like he is that one who would put in the work with me upon me putting in the work as well. And I feel I want to give it a try. We'll see where things go. Um, I mean, for crying out loud, like when I had my fall that gave me that scar under my eye, he was the one who took me to, no, he didn't take me to the hospital. The ambulance took me to the hospital, but he met me at the hospital and stayed with me in the hospital while they gave me the stitches. Like, and then I had some other, yeah. He matters to me, you know. I remember I went to see him back in because he lives in the good old DMV. Like that's where we first started dating. Now I live in Cleveland, but I still make it back to the DMV because I have family and friends there, and this past trip that I did, I went to see him, and I caught the metro to see him, and I remember seeing him as I was coming up and out of the metro, and I was just so happy, you know, like oh my gosh, he's here for me, you know, and that's right, because when I got out of the turnstile, he was like, "Now, do you want me to just pull you to my car?" And I was like, "No, what? Well, I can walk." And he was like, "It's a really far distance," and he actually pulled me in my walker, which, uh, FYI, for safety purposes, they say you shouldn't really sit while being rolled in the walker. We made it okay, but just bear in mind that's a note because things could possibly happen. Anyway, he actually pulled me all the way to his car. You know, like stuff like that makes me feel like he really cares and really wants to put in that effort. And we can put in that effort together and make a thing happen. I like him. I do. I'm attracted to him. Oh, I tell him this. Now this is not too identifying by any means because a million people play this role in football. But in college, he was on the football team and he played one of the offensive tackles, left offensive tackle. And I don't know very much of anything about football. I just remember that he said that. And because he's taller than me, he's bigger than me, and I'm attracted to just that. And I like dudes with a football player build. You know, I will. It's not that that is an. It's not that that is a requirement of mine. That is something I am attracted to. Okay, and he is just that. He has that big, massive football player build. You know, like not sloppy fat. He's just massive, big. You know, he was an offensive tackle. Anyway, but so we'll see where things go. Talk to you later, social media family. Peace. VerseTV.com. Stay blessed. All right.